When I'm studying unbossed cases from all over the world, I'm obviously not only studying the success cases. I'm also looking at the failures and trying to understand why these journeys failed. In doing so, I've identified a number of most common reasons why these journeys can fail. And the first one is simply a lack of skills. What I've noticed is that organizations are eager to launch themselves into the unbossing journey without investing time, energy, and resources in the skills of their people and their abilities to make sure that they can organize themselves. What I notice is that top leaders, once they embrace the unbossing philosophy, they are extremely eager to launch this in the organization. Instead of first crystallizing their own future state and then having a dialogue with many people in the organization, sometimes this can take weeks or even months, they jump immediately into implementation. And they think, yeah, it's clear in my head, so most of the people will understand it, and they give their people and their teams a blind check. This is obviously a recipe for disaster because this creates uncertainty, this creates fear, it might even create chaos, and most obviously a lot of resistance against the unbossing journey. It takes time for people to grow into a role where they can take leadership, where they can be accountable. You need to be patient, basically. You need to be able to give space for people to make mistakes. And what I often see is that when the first experiments fail, a lot of leaders get really scared and they say, okay, it doesn't work, we need to go back to the old way. Well, it doesn't work like that, you know? You have to give people time to mature in roles in which they can be a leader and take accountability. A fourth reason is that the leaders in the organization, once the unbossing journey starts, that they stop leading and that the managers stop managing. That's obviously not the point. The point is that the way you lead and the way you manage is different than what you're used to. But also in an unbossed organization, you need leaders and you need managers. A new way of doing leadership and a new way of managing in the unbossed organization. So definitely don't stop being a leader or don't stop being a manager, but try to do it in a different unbossed way. If you want to know more about that, there's 2 videos. There's the role of the manager in an unbossed organization and also the 9 characteristics of the unbossed manager. Very interesting stuff. Control becomes something bad, you know? We've been so long working in an organization which is control-based that the only alternative that we can think of, the unbossed organization, that there's no control at all. And this is simply not true. Again, same as for the leadership and the way we do management, the way we use control and define control is just completely different. In an unbossed organization, control means more measuring everything and communicating very transparently about the measurement on performance and having dialogue on the performance and trying to understand what we can improve in the organization. So there's still control, but simply different mechanisms than what we are used to. And then the last one, and I can be very brief on that one, is ego. Everybody in the journey, everybody without any exception, brings some type of ego, some type of insecurities, fears, whatever to the table. And this is, I can write a book on how ego can block unbossing and how it can make the unbossing journey fails. I'll make sure to make an explicit and specific video on that topic alone.